Hi guys, this is Purva. The month of May has gone by, and in this video I will be discussing the books that I managed to read in last month, that is in the month of May, and also the book which are currently in my reading list for the month of June. The concepts of each of the books were poles apart from each other, and all of them explored certain themes or ideas from different angles or perspectives, and also some historic events which were unknown to me as an Indian. So let's dive right into it. The first book is Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney. Set in the backdrop of Irish culture, this is the story of Frances, who is in her early 20s, and her unexplainable attraction to Nick, who is a married man in his mid 30s. Nick, who is a handsome man with a first impression type of personality, meets Frances through mutual friends. A steady relationship looms, which sets the pace of the story. The catch in the story is that Nick is a married man to a famous personality, Melissa, but still continues his affair with the protagonist. Though at times this book offers a unique dialogue and conversations which are thought-provoking, overall it was a disappointing read, much too against my expectations, which were to explore some Irish culture as a background to the main story. Hence, in spite of this novel being set up in Ireland and had a lot of potential to just explore the Irish culture, it does not play any significant role in setting up the overall mood of the story. Rather, I could imagine the same story being set up in any American suburb without any general change in the taste of the storyline. But the one thing I liked about this whole character setup is the nature of the protagonist, who is a not so confident girl who is experiencing a steady transition from student life to a professional, but is still coping up with her mental struggles both on personal as well as on social sides. It also explores a different take on female friendships, which cannot be explained verbally to other people in its chaotic yet sturdy nature. As the book progresses further till the end, and you think that you are familiar with the character and their behavioral aspects, these act out in a normal scene or normal situations in such a way that you immediately disconnect with them and don't actually or really care about what their storyline is going to be. Many sensitive topics are discussed or probed in this book, like normalization of polygamy, bisexuality, and extramarital affair. It is merely probed, and the author could have explored it in a much deeper or meaningful way instead of just putting it out there without any agenda or a definitive cause. Also, there are a certain young adult vibes that actually cut the threads that were steadily building up within me as a reader. Anyways, I am currently reading Sally Rooney's second novel, or a much acclaimed one called Normal People, and I am currently experiencing a altogether different change of atmosphere from this book, and I'm hoping for the best to very much like this book. The second book, which took a new turn in relation to the topics and the themes, is Americanah by Chimamanda and Ngozi Adichie. It was a lengthy read, but it was worth the time, and it very much adhered to its topics of exploration without swaying away from it or without losing the meaning of the plot. It is about two Nigerian lovers who made a wonderful journey out of their lives filled with unexpected surprises and shocks that life gives us in general. This made it more engaging and one of those books to learn something from. The portrayal of the characters and the purity of their culture made it a more raw and real read rather than a superficial one just to make it look more aesthetically pleasing. The strongest point of this book, in my opinion, was the character development arcs of both the leads, that is Ifemelu and Obinze, who transition from some naive teenagers with aspiring dreams to the mature ones who have gone through the rough lessons of life, like inequality and belonging to a different culture and from an outside world. This book has everything to offer for a reader, from its satirical, witty, sometimes lame but yet comical humor, the coming of age trope, realism of life, all this intertwined in a fateful yet sensible, non-nonsense love story which ferments like a old wine and blooms slowly yet beautifully like a flower, giving the reader its sweet fragrance. The next book served as a lesson in a way from an historic perspective, and that book was The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. This is the story of a young shy girl, Elsa, who is neglected by her own family, but after marriage finds a new family and along with it a new sense of love and belonging. The ups and downs faced by her are as diverse and distinct as the South and the North Pole. This is the story of how she transforms into a brave, confident woman and who smilingly bears the responsibility of her family on her own head through the turbulent and testing times of the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. In this book too, as Elsa matures, her nature and the kind of response to certain situations gets more and more mature as she becomes more and more selfless till the end. This book is not at all a fun, casual read and takes all the attention of the reader and the energy in a more inspiring kind of way. I hope to read as many or more books than last month, and here is the list of my June to be read list. After a bland and fairly okayish read that The Conversation with Friends was by Sally Rooney, I have yet picked up another book by her called Normal People, which is a highly critically acclaimed book, and currently I am in the third chapter of this book, and this book has crossed all my hopes and expectations in comparison to her last book, and I'm hoping for the best out of this book in terms of storyline as well as cultural explorations. The second is Villette by Charlotte Bronte. This book has made my interest in reading it reach its highest peak as I have read and listened to many discussions and reviews about this book, and it is slightly based off on Charlotte's real life. It promises to offer the reader some out of the world experience through its situations and the intensity of the events that takes place in the novel. Milkman by Anna Burns. This one is currently on the top of my list as many of the booktubers that I follow have raised this book high in the sky with its whole premise of normalizing the abnormal. Also, the reason that I want to read this book is because I want to explore the various or diverse emotions that a reader can explore from a single book, like sadness, humor, drama, and so on. Although some readers have found it a difficult read relative to the locality of the story, but let's find out how it turns out to be. The next one is Solar Bones by McCormac. I'm currently into this book and I'm reading it in a very slow but steady pace. It has got something to do with its format, its overall structure of the book, which is quite different from the books that we normally read, and I will let you know this in detail in my next video, which will be based separately on this book alone. That's it from me. I'll see you in the next video. Keep reading. Bye bye.